How do we grow a colocation business in Latin America? That's a big one. The challenge in Latin America is, in many cases, the markets are kind of fragmented, especially when you look at Brazil compared to the rest of the continent. But you want to be very specific about the markets that you're going after. And it's very likely that you'll want to have a beachhead in one country before you expand significantly into other countries, just because of the culture issues, the financial issues, regulatory issues, uh, very, very different kinds of markets. So, in terms of growing your co-location business, it's the same issues growing in Latin America as anywhere else on the planet. It's who your ideal clients are, what makes them happy, what makes you successful, why are they your case studies, why have they stayed with you for years, and how do you get more clients just like that? So you're building your ideal client profile, you're building out your buyer personas, you're figuring out the biggest goals and challenges that your primary and secondary buyer personas care the most about, and we're showing up early and often. Every once in a while, there's people that come to me like, but our region is different. They don't look online for this information. Okay, really? Okay, so you're champions of digital infrastructure that buy co-location. They don't have smartphones? Oh, no, they have smartphones. They don't watch YouTube videos? Oh, no, they watch YouTube videos. They never attend a webinar or watch podcasts or go to a review website. Oh, no, they do most of those things. Okay, so how are they actually different? Of course, you need to localize. It's a given that you need to be creating content in Spanish and Portuguese, um, depending on your market there. But so it's the same basic issues: is where have you been most successful? What does your ideal client profile look like? How do you build a target account list? How do you better understand how you can add value throughout the full buyer's journey for your most important buyer personas? And how do you consistently show up and execute so you're educating and building trust at scale with them throughout their full buyer's journey? Because rest assured, they have figured out search and they figured out social and they figured out all those things just like any other co-location buyer on the planet has done. And we need to figure out a way to show up early and often so that we're in on as many of those 28 touch points between complete stranger and purchase decision as we possibly can. So we have significant surface area footprint and relationship building in place with them in the awareness and consideration stages of the journey, and aren't just showing up at the end at the decision stage and expecting modern miracles. So for growing your co-location business in Latin America, get super specific about where they're located, their company size, their industries, their business models, and then figure out a way for you, your team, to show up as the experts in your space, to show up as the teachers, the trusted advisors, the subject matter experts, the thought leaders, and the consultants, because no one wants to spend time with a vendor sales rep anymore until they're at the absolute end of the journey. The trick with the whole thing is to reposition your sales and account managers so they can show up early as the teachers, as the consultants, as the subject matter experts, so they can be the ones that ultimately significantly influence how your co-location buyers navigate their buyer's journey.